Hi, my name is Anurag Mishra. Thank you FundaClear for having me here today. I'm going to talk about some issues regarding MBA, what it takes to crack a decent MBA college, how to sustain in an MBA college, and what to take away from an MBA college. These all experiences I'm sharing which are completely personal, and these are the things which has worked out for me. I'm going to share all of that in a short video with you guys. So let's get started. Before starting with the nuggets, I want to address those people who have not managed to get any calls this year. I want to tell them it's completely okay. I've been there too. Don't let a percentile wrap your self-esteem or your confidence in any manner. It's not worth it, to be very honest. It's not a question of yes or no. It's a matter of when. Stay positive. Have patience in the entire process. It takes time. I've got my first call in my third attempt and I ensured that I nailed that attempt. So keep at it, have patience, stay focused. You can take a note of all the mistakes that you've done in your preparation strategy, the way you handle the exam, maybe some screw up during the exam. Take a note of all of that and implement in your next year's strategy, and I'm sure it will happen. So stay positive. Yeah, so coming back to the nuggets. The first nugget which I want to share with you guys is that be self-aware. I know it sounds ridiculously funny and simple. You guys might be thinking, how can I not know about myself? It's not that simple actually. When I say know about yourself, is that you should be confident about and confident and knowledgeable about everything, right from the top left of your resume to the bottom right of your resume. You should be completely thorough about, right from maybe, let's say, the meaning of your name to to that sixth hobby which you have mentioned in the bottom line of your resume. This point is, I think, by far the strongest point which I can advise you upon, and this is the most underrated point which people take it for granted. Just imagine from the viewpoint of an interviewer. I wouldn't want to hire a person who is not confident about himself or herself. Would you? No, right? So be thorough about your resume, be it your name, your background, the state from which you belong, the history about that, the companies for which you have worked, the colleges, the subjects that you have taken, the positions of responsibility you have held in the past, the hobbies that you have mentioned, the extracurricular activities that you mentioned, the strengths and the weaknesses. So once you have a look at your resume, you will be clear that what I have to work upon. So it's just a sign of confidence actually, and trust me, it's a high turn on for an interviewer if you are sounding confident about yourself. That shows a lot about your personality, and trust me, it works. And let's say if you're not confident about something in your resume, please do remove it. I strongly advise, let not there be any loopholes in your resume which you are not confident or you can't speak about, right? Coming to the second nugget, the second nugget will be build stories. I know it's an exam or it's a level of qualification for an MBA college, but it's a conversation, right? And in a conversation, even the interviewer wants to talk to you, wants to have conversation, wants to be genuinely be interested in you, right? So you should have stories for everything, and trust me, it can be worked out. For example, let's say they ask your strengths and weaknesses. Let's say you mention some strengths, let's say hard-working nature, for example. Then you should have 2 or 3 examples where you exhibited or you showed your hard-working nature, maybe in some exam or maybe in some event or something. So there should be a story. I still feel that it may not be true. You can maybe fudge with the facts, but be very careful about it. You should be able to build stories, but try to stick to as real-life examples as you can stick to. Because once you are caught with building fake stories, it can be a huge turn-off. So you should know how to strike balance. Build stories, yet keep it very real life, very honest. It should sound more like a conversation. It's not like you are badgering the interviewer with your past skills or past achievements. So it should be more like a conversation. Give an impression or give an attitude of a conversation rather than I have come here to appear for an exam kind of an attitude. So building stories and building conversations really helps in interviews. The third nugget will be the first question. The first question is very, very critical. Generally, the first question which you might face is, tell me something about yourself, which is very cliched, which is very normal, and I think by now every one of you must have by-hearted this question's answer, right? The thing which people don't explain is that why this is critical. because from my experience, what I've seen, this question or the answer to this question leads to a lot of other questions. For example, you are very strong in your branch knowledge. Let's say you come from electrical or mechanical and you are very strong in your technical domain or technical knowledge, and you feel that you will be very confident if you face questions from your domain. So accordingly, when you would be asked, tell me something about yourself, you give your basic introduction, from which college you are, what is your home state, what do you do, and what is your background and your hobbies and interests and blah blah. But keep it very focused on, let's say, the electrical domain or the exact domain which you focus on. For me, it was electrical. Focus on that and maybe end your introduction or maybe end your answer to the question, tell me something about yourself, with a hint of your domain expertise. For example, tell me something about yourself, Anurag. I say the basic template first, and at the end I say I'm doing some courses in electrical from the Coursera website, and this and this and this. I'm very interested in the study of motors or generators and whatever it is. So then the last words which you speak, it kind of stays in the mind of the interviewer, and he generally 99% of the time he takes that cue. The next 2 or 3 questions at least will be maneuvered in that direction. In the process, you will grow confident, right? The second question will be something about, let's say, electrical, and you will nail that answer. The third question will be might be connected, and you again nailed it. So until and unless some other interviewer changes the course of the interview, your entire interview might end up in the technical domain questions answers. It's really important how you end, or where do you divert your answer for the first question, which is more or less tell me something about yourself. It might be something related to your hobbies also. It might be something about your past experience which you want to highlight. The first question is very critical. Be careful about it. The fourth nugget which I want to focus is that you should think before you speak in an interview. Generally, this is again very much underrated and very much taken for granted. Remember, an interview is all about quality of your content or quality of your answer. It's not about how fast you answer, right? So it is very okay if you let's say if you face a question, it's very okay if you say that so can I take half a minute to think about it. So in that half minute you can gather your thought, maybe arrange it in a coherent manner so that while you speak it looks a coherent conversation, rather than you are stammering, you are fudging with the facts. It is completely okay. Nobody has such restriction that no, you can't use pen and paper. No, you have to answer within 5 seconds of us asking you a question. No, it's not like that. So it is very okay. You should take your time. Whatever you are going to speak, as my previous nugget said, whatever you are going to speak might end up as a next question, right? So be very careful about what you speak. Take time to decide what you speak. My fifth nugget is all about honesty. Be honest while you're answering factual questions. You might be asked a lot of questions from your past experiences, from your school life, college life, your past work life. So you should be very honest while answering those. It's nice to build stories, as I said in my previous nuggets, but while answering factual questions, you should not be caught making up facts and figures out of your own mind. It's a very genuine and human feeling, right? You can't know everything. So for example, so when I attempted my IIM Indore call, I had worked for 2 years in Tata Steel, and honestly I didn't remember much of my BTech grad subject knowledge, right? So when I was asked something about my electrical, which I didn't know honestly, I accepted that I don't know that, and the fact was respected by them also. So they moved on to next question, which I nailed. So it's very okay, but first I would recommend that you think about it, let's say a half minute or 1 minute. Once you realize that you can't answer that question and it makes no sense to linger on that question, you can honestly admit that, sir, I don't know the answer of this question, I'm sorry, and maybe you can ask something else or something like that. It's very okay, rather than your sir, according to me I think this is the answer, I don't know, I am guessing. No guesses, no making up. I think is a very, very bad term in interviews. You don't think, you speak only if you are sure, right? So be very sure of what you're talking. Be honest. There might be some person in an interview panel who will be judging your personality and your character and attitude from the way you speak, from the way you attempt questions. So this honesty will be a huge factor, a huge plus.